All right, guys, we are live. It's episode 241 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Co-host joining me, Jennifer Seymour. What's up, Jen?
Hey, everybody.
We got a lot to talk about your match that you shot all the way across in the West Coast over at Arizona, right?
Yep, in Arizona.
So we're going to talk about that. That's our first time on the West Coast. Guest and star of the hour. He's a sales director, director of sales and marketing at Area 419. That's Craig Arnzen. What's going on, buddy?
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on here. We're going to talk a lot about the long range game and a lot about Area 419, which you're highly involved in, and some of their products and shooting the long range game. And also, man, it's an important day for us, a voting day. So hopefully everybody got out to the polls and made your vote count. It's very important that we did that, and there seems to be a lot of close races, especially here in Florida. I think probably most of the eyes are tuned into the news right now because it looks like some of these are closing now. So we will officially know who is in and who is going to be probably crying shortly here. All right. And man, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited about this thing to, all the advertisements and stuff to go away. It's everywhere.
No doubt.
And I obviously understand it's very important. But man, you can't avoid it. It's everywhere. So hopefully you made your vote count, and the person you vote for won or whatever, or is gonna win. So we'll see. Let's move on here. Show sponsors, the folks over at Tactical Shit. Shop.tacticalshit.com for all your tactical shit needs. We have a discount code coming from them later on in the show. The website is shop.tacticalshit. Okay. Folks over at GSL Technology Suppressors, all right, the world's finest suppressors. That's GSL Technologies, okay? Check them out. We have some more announcements for them later on in the show. Me and Jed are excited to be running their suppressors. At least Jen will be running at least probably next year.
Yeah, once he gets out of jail.
The PRS game. I've been running them for this year, and I'll have some more next year when those get out of jail too. So we'll see how those are holding up. So far, they're holding up great. If you want to get your questions in live and you're watching on the YouTube side of things, top right-hand corner, you can put them up there. I'll grab those. Or if you prefer to use Facebook, The Shooter's Mindset on Facebook, probably our most recent post, you can use the comment section and get your live questions in there. And obviously, theshootersmindset.com, where you can keep up with all the latest episodes of The Shooter's Mindset's there. Shop at our store, read up on our blogs, and we have some training information also up on theshootersmindset.com. Okay. For those who are unfamiliar with you, Craig, tell us a little bit more about yourself and about Area 419.
Oh, I'm unexciting. I'm not good at a whole lot. I just talk a bunch. But I'm Craig Arnzen. I'm with Area 419, and I've been involved in things here for a little more than 2 years. When Area 419 started, John was working at the gun counter at Gander Mountain as a college student, and they were going to do away with their gunsmithing program. So John, being a guy who was pursuing training in mechanical engineering, said, "Well, great. I'd like your mill and your lathe, please." And he ended up with some machinery in the garage and went through different times, different career, but kept building rifles, kept learning in the process. And now it's 8 years later. 2 years ago, the Hellfire released, and the company started growing very rapidly at that point. And I started working with him then. I'm now full time with the organization, and we're doing what we can to continue to put out good products to serve people well and to grow a name in the industry.
A little bit more about yourself. I know you mentioned earlier in the pre-show that you were highly involved in some politics, right?
That's a past life. I spent about almost a decade from between time in college and time out of college working professionally in politics. I've got a background in agency side advertising. Did some senior management at a construction subcontractor for a while, but I grew up as a farm kid, learning how to shoot, loving rifles, knowing that going out and hunting was just part of life and what we did and what I did for fun. And a handful of years ago, I got bit by the bug and the idea that you could take a rifle and go put rounds on a torso-sized target at a half mile, and I thought, no way, that's not real. So like everybody else, I went and bought a Remington 700 in 308, and quickly fell in love with something that became a very real part of my life. And I don't know how many matches I've shot this year. It's a pile. I'm gearing up for I'll have the finale in a few weeks in Central Texas or North Texas. Texas people will correct me. It's outside of Fort Worth. And I love it, and I enjoy it, and I love what I do, and getting to kind of grow and be a part of this industry. It's a cool deal.
Yeah, the gateway gun, exactly. The Remington 700, right? It's a lot of
one, and they all were in some terrible chassis with an awful optic on it, and it was just part of it.
Yeah,
that's the story we all share.
Yeah, those are awesome. Remington 700 with a Walmart like Tasco or like $30 optic on it.
And they were all second focal plane, but if the turrets were exposed, you thought you were really cool, even though they didn't match the mil-dot reticle because they were MOA.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's where we get started.
Yeah, a lot of people did a lot of damage with those style rifles with them scopes on. I tell you that. Oh man, Jen, you had a chance to kind of go by the booth at the Precision Rifle Expo. Thoughts on some of the products you ran into?
I tell you, and I told the Voodoo guys this, I think y'all and Voodoo had the two best interactive things out there to do. I mean, everybody had stuff that you could shoot, but y'all just both, with you, the way y'all did it, and Voodoo had the little contest going where they shot the different things to get little raffle tickets. It drew a lot of people in. But yours was really awesome because and I did a video on it, it gave us the chance to try to take it off, put it on, see the difference between the two. And it was, to me, it was more meaningful than just getting behind it and shooting and being like, oh yeah, it shoots good, because seeing the huge difference and how easy it was to change out, take off. I could do it with no tools, with my bare hands.
And those are the three things we try to talk about with the brakes, and we'll get into the other portion of it in a bit. It's high performance. They work really well, and you got to see that when you go from shooting with it to shooting without it. They're easy to install. With all of our products, we like to put things into market that your average person that knows basically how to turn a wrench and a screwdriver. I want them to be able to install it or uninstall it or work on it or work with it without going to a gunsmith necessarily. We want people to be able to buy something and enjoy it right away. So the brakes, they perform well, they're easy to use, and they're very versatile. And we'll talk about the suppressor attachment ability in a bit. We also, since it's a two-part system, and we've got the adapters as well as the brake component as well. There are a lot of people that come to us and say, I had rifles that were in 5/8 24, in half 28, and I had this odd one that was in 9/16 24. You mean I can use the same brakes and the same suppressors on all of them, and I can even switch back and forth from my Thunder Beast Ultra 7 to my Silencer Co. Omega, all on the same rifles, all in the same system, and absolutely, it's something where, and even if some of GSL's products are direct thread, we've got a lot of people with direct thread suppressors that say, wait, I can use a QD system or something that's easy and repeatable in field, and we say, yeah, absolutely, you can. So the system has been one that we think has made a real impact on the precision rifle game. It's obviously made a big impact on our business, and we're real proud of them. When they were brand new, the first match I shot with one was the Gap Grind 2 years ago, and this is like the first time anybody had seen them. And people would walk up to me and they'd say, "What's this brake? I've seen something about it. I've heard about it. Tell me about it." And in the middle of the match, I would take the brake off of my rifle and I would hand it to them and say, "Here's the brake. Here's how it works." I would show them the adapter, and I carry around my little fake end of a barrel. Here's an adapter. Here's the brake. Here's how it fits. Here's how it times. And I do it in the middle of a match and blow people's minds because what are you doing? Why are you taking the brake off in the middle of a match? But because of the way John put the product together and the way that it's engineered and the way that it times and the way that it connects to the end of the barrel, the repeatability is unreal. There's nothing else on the market like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of nailed it with the ultimate convenience, right? If you guys play the game for a while, no matter what game you're really playing, you usually have a lot of leftover gear, a lot of leftover guns, or a combination of both.
Box of parts that they don't use anymore, worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, and
right. And you can get one piece of equipment that works for all your. Instead of buying a muzzle brake for this, buying that, you can kind of save some money and get a product that works and can work with all the hands.
They've got, the retail on the system, the adapter and the brake together is $165. It's pretty standard price point for a high performance brake. But to have a second one that runs on a second rifle, it's $40 for an adapter. And so you can, if you're a guy with 4, 5, 6 rifles that you're trying to all put together and run the same suppressors on them, same brakes on them, and you want that performance, it's a whole lot cheaper to pick up another $40 adapter than it is to pick up another $90 ASR brake from Silencer Co. or something like that. So, the system, it appeals to a lot of people for a lot of reasons.
Oh, there we go. And for a GSL or, is there obviously there's a bunch of there's 3 different types of thread pitches you can get these in, but is there anything if I called you up today and say, hey, I'm running a GSL such and such, is there an adapter that's going to be ready, or is that not available right now?
It all depends on the suppressor. If it's a 5/8 24 direct thread suppressor, I can ship you something out tomorrow. But there are a lot of kind of specialty suppressor adapters that are out there, and we all the time roll new ones in. We have various computer CAD designs for pick your suppressor company that all the time we're figuring out what's the next suppressor mount we need to do. We just did a Thunder Beast Ultra 2 Sidewinder, which is our larger Magnum style brake. We just did that a week ago, and some of the fresh ones straight off the turning center are sitting on our desks in the shop, and they're running through nitride. And there's constantly something next, another suppressor that we're trying to pull in, another way to mount that we're trying to pull in, because as soon as the brand stops growing and we stop innovating, that's a bad thing, and we're going to keep pushing and making the system more available to more people.
There you go. I mean, I've had my fair share of dealings with companies, in an AR-15 market, and every time you talk to them, they're like, my comp is the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? It seems like everybody's making them, and they're all the best for some reason or the other, right? For lack of a, I've talked to people who said, well, the cuts in mine, for lack of a better term, the cuts in my brake do this and all this stuff, and it's all about the cuts and the machines of the muzzle brake. And I'm like, well, the only way to really try is to put them on your gun and run them. You know what I mean? But, that's obviously an expensive process to do. You $150 muzzle brake here and there, taking the jam nut off and putting a new one on and timing it and all that shit.
A lot of things feel a lot different to people. And, if you're a guy that doesn't want it to be quite as loud, or you want it to be a little bit shorter, or you want the price point to be different, we have the 2-port Hellfire system too. This is our standard Hellfire. It's 3 ports, and they're pretty aggressively swept. The 2-port is it's obviously 2 ports, a little bit shorter, and they are less aggressively swept. And a lot of guys that are built maybe a hunting rifle like it, or if you're running something like a 16 and a half-inch AR, you might like that little bit different Hellfire. One of the things that these brakes do that I don't know why, it's somewhat unique to our Hellfire brake, is there's actually an additional relief cut in the top portion of the brake. And Jennifer, you shot the Sidewinder, so you experienced some of this. We have a lot of people that come back to us and say, hey, I was using this brake that's a main competitor of yours, and I felt like the recoil reduction was fairly similar, because there are a lot of good performing brakes on the market. I don't want to act like there's not anybody else making a good brake when it comes to recoil reduction. But you're staying on target a lot better, and why is that? And it's understanding what happens. Every time we pull the trigger, we're setting a bomb off 6 inches from our face. And there are a lot of squirrely things that happen in the microseconds that it takes for you to drop the sear on the trigger, the firing pin to hit the primer, and all of the internal ballistics that turn into external ballistics take place. But by taking some time and settling down and thinking about what's happening, why are these things happening, what are the adverse effects on the shooter, we were able to put together, and John was able to design what we think is without a brake that's without peer in the market when it comes to ADAT performance. but B, that ease of use for the end consumer, and C, that versatility.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely hit it with obviously the convenience portion of using it amongst many different rifles and gear, but also almost a toolless system, right? I mean,
yeah. So when you're installing one of these, the only tool that you're going to need is when you pull this out of the box, and I snapped it on pretty tight. What you're going to find in the box is the Hellfire brake, and these come in. This one's a 6.5, and you may be able to see the numbers on the nose there. They're available in 6, 6.5, 30 cal, and 338. And so you pick. You know, you can always run a bigger brake on a smaller caliber, but running a smaller brake on a bigger caliber can turn into a precarious situation. You're going to have a brake that comes in, and you're also going to have an adapter. These are available in 1/2 28, 9/16 24, 5/8 24, 3/4 24. There's a laundry list of thread pitches that are available, and the only difference is the thread pitch on the inside back here. So when you pull these out, you're going to go your rifle. You're going to have your barrel. Spin that guy on there. A lot of people ask, should I use a little bit of blue Loctite? And I always tell them, you know, blue Loctite never hurt anybody, so go for it, buddy. Spin it on, grab it with a 5/8 wrench there on the nose, and give it a nice little, you know, with a wrench. Grab your barrel, turn it, make sure it's good and snug. That's the only kind of tooling you're going to need. And we tell people when you go to the system, this adapter is going to go on your rifle, and it's just going to live there. You might take it off to clean it if you really feel like you need to, because you can accumulate a little bit of carbon in the crown. I go a whole lot of rounds without pulling these things off and cleaning them, because I've not noticed a lot of carbon build up there, but it makes some people feel better, and so much of shooting is about doing what makes you feel good. And the brake, it goes on toollessly. So you put it on the end of your muzzle. You left-hand thread this collar to the point that you start to feel the tapers inside the brake and on the outside of the adapter line up. You time it to where you want. A little bit of pressure on the nose, and it's going to engage those two tapers. So they're matching 5-degree tapers on the insides of these. And this is part of the, I'm used to saying patent pending, but the patent was awarded just a few weeks ago. It's now a patented system that engages these tapers. It's not, all I've done is press on it. This collar, as you see, is not tight. I'm just pressing on it. It's not going anywhere. I mean, it's not turning even with quite a bit of force. Where this idea came from is John obviously spent a lot of time as a machinist, and a lot of tool holding happens this way if you're looking at a mill. So, you know, our mills spin at a super high rate of speed that allows us to remove material from products, and they're all held through tapers like this. It's an incredibly strong bond, and even without the collar tightened, it takes quite a bit of force. See, I actually removed. I was able to. It loosened the adapter from the barrel before it loosened the adapter from the brake. You tighten it down, and you're stuck. It's going nowhere. It's not rotating. It's an easy to install, easy to use system.
Boom. There we go. Jen, you had anything live or anything to throw in?
Well, we do have two things live. One, Prentice, you owe me a quarter. Here's your shout out. Prentice Wink was the first person to comment wanting a shout out. So I got to see him this weekend and at the match. But anyway, there's your shout out. And Nathan Livingston, I shared this in the, I guess this is where I shared it in case you want to see it, Craig. He did a little meme for you.
Oh, you know, he's not, it's been shared with me a few times through Messenger.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put in a comment here on the YouTube side of things saying, "What's better, the feeling of hitting steel at distance, or posting a mildly offensive meme on Facebook?" ? So,
how well am I doing in the match before I get to pull the trigger?
Yeah.
There you go.
Nathan's the meme master. He has no other discernible skills, but the man makes a solid meme.
There we go. Tony says, checked out their Facebook page. They have the coolest machine shop videos, all kinds of great machining.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff that happens on the mills. And we actually released today a new product that a lot of the stuff that we have is born of necessity. So like the funnel kits is one where John's reloading one day and he's using one of the little green 25-cent funnels that everybody has learned to use. And we had all this money in a great auto trickler system. And you take the powder and you would dump it into or at that point, let's see, at that point he was probably running a Charge Master. You dump it into the funnel, and a couple kernels of powder stick to the outside, and it takes a long time to go down. He said, well, this is bogus. I want to have one of the aluminum funnels, but I don't want to have a different one for every caliber because that becomes kind of goofy and expensive. Let's make an aluminum funnel with all the interchangeable heads and for all the different caliber sizes and for each of the different calibers that we load. And it was great. And it's sold very well. And the one that we're releasing today is a rack for cleaning rods and jigs. I don't have one on me, but we just posted it to our Facebook page this evening, where you can either screw to your bench or you can screw it to the wall, and you can put a bunch of cleaning rods in it and all the little jags and brushes and things like that you might need for each caliber. Because John was trying to organize and clean up his pile of cleaning rods and said, this is stupid. I need a rack to put them all in. So he made one, and then he liked it. So he made another one and started redrawing it and made another one. And I mean, they're ready for production now. And we were running a pile of them yesterday and today, and you can go to the site and buy one right now if you'd like. So
the website here that we're mentioning, if you guys want to go there, take a look. It'll be area419.com. You can see that these products that we already talked about are all there ready to purchase. And believe it, I mean, I was sponsored by Dewey rods for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, there was a demand for a system to hang all your rods neatly and organize them instead of just having them thrown in a corner of a workbench or something like that. People want it.
You've got all your stuff laying there, and the more you clean rifles, and whenever we have, and we build a significant amount of rifles and ship them out to customers, we like to shoot them all before they leave. And when one shoots before they leave, we want to clean it before we start, and we want to shoot it, and then we want to clean it again. And I don't like taking the jags off the end of the rods. So we basically have a 6mm spear jag rod and a 6mm brush rod, and then we got a 6.5 spear jag and a 6.5 brush, and you accumulate piles of cleaning rods, and they go everywhere. So it was born a necessity, and it's a cool product, and we're excited about it.
Yeah. Tony also says hello to Jennifer and I. Appreciate you watching there, Tony. Great show tonight. Tim QRT says, hopefully I didn't screw Tim's name up. That'll be terrible, but
he shoots. He says he's a good guy.
There we go. He says he's also a writer for the Shooter's Mindset. If you guys didn't know, you guys go to shootersmindset.com, check out our blog section, and there's some articles that Tim has written for the website. You can check those out. He wants the Arca lock system. If I'm saying that right, the rail system.
Yeah.
So it looks awesome. He says, can the system be used
Money you should
on both bolt guns and AR platforms?
Yeah, it can, absolutely. So when the Arca system started getting popular, we liked it a lot. And at one point we were making Arca rails that were straight Arca, and you could bolt onto the bottom of the rifle. But the design flaw in Arca, in our opinion, is that it is a friction-based lock system, meaning that notwithstanding our Arca lock system, all you're doing is taking two flat surfaces and pushing them against other flat surfaces. So over the course of this length, you got a nice fair amount of lockup. And since it was kind of born in the camera world, it's more than enough for the DSLR that you're throwing on top of the tripod. But when we're putting rifles into this system, and you see the very fast, snappy force of recoil, they would tend to slide. And especially as people started taking these systems and were trying to use them in a barricade stop system, meaningfully one where you have, and this one comes with a separate kind of wedge in the back here. But when you're trying to take this thing and wedge it over, let's say, a PRS barricade and support the rifle's recoil against this leading edge, as that rifle recoils back, it's a very sharp, very fast force. And if there's not something that is mechanically keeping that barricade stop from moving, the friction-based Arca systems and the barricade blocks on front, they would slide and slip. Even the guys that are running 30-pound dashers, there's not a lot of recoil force that's coming in, but it's very quick, and so that force is kind of sharp against something that's not locked in. So what John decided to do is take an Arca rail. I'll kind of try to zoom in here and remove material in these little serrations. So these rails are totally compatible with your Really Right Stuff tripod, or if you've already got an Arca bipod mount or whatever you got going on here. He removed these little materials, these serrations, and then took an Arca clamp, and there's some other stuff going on here we'll talk about, and he added these 2 pins, which are removable. They're held in by a set screw, so this clamp can also work on an Arca rail if you've got one on your rifle. And these 2 pins lock into these serrations, and they give you a nice mechanical grab on the rail so that when that sharp, snappy recoil is pushed up against here, it's not going anywhere. You've got something to actually stop it as opposed to just gripping onto the rail really hard.
Boom, there you go. I mean, Jen, you've just been getting into the bipod game. I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I played with that a little bit at the Precision Rifle Expo, and it's solid. It's not moving at all.
Boom. There we go. Let's see what else we have here. Appreciate all the live questions that are coming in. Said Craig, what do we got from Abe Bentley? Said Craig,
oh God,
this is an amazing Hellfire commercial. By the way, Florida is too close to call.
We appreciate you, Bentley. We don't, but someone probably does.
What do we have? So this is interesting here. Recoil Web or Recoil Magazine and FN. Yesterday, I believe, the announcement went up the release of their SCAR 20S precision rifle. Okay, so that's exactly the name. They're calling it their 20S precision rifle built around the SCAR platform. MSRP $4,500 for the rifle, which is not surprising for the SCAR platform. We know those rifles are up there. What is your excitement level? Start with you, Craig. What do you got?
As far as precision, so 2 points. One, precision gas gun is a little bit tough for me. It's like a jumbo shrimp or something. In a world where we're putting together bolt guns and Jennifer and I shooting PRS, we're used to bolt guns that hold an outstanding accuracy potential. You just don't as often see it in a gas gun. There are a whole lot of good half-inch, quarter-inch bolt guns out there. There are not that many half-inch gas guns out. So, I don't get excited about precision gas guns. And the second part of it, if you go to the recoil article and look at the release photo that FN put out, it's a precision rifle with iron sights on it. So I'm a little bit confused at which direction they're going. But people will buy it. FN's a good brand. The SCAR is a great rifle, and they're doing some limited release stuff. So, of course, they'll sell them, and I'm glad they do. And, I mean, if you can sell it, why not make it?
Yeah, I don't, obviously that's not something that I would, for that type of money, if I wanted to really get into the PRS game, that's not something that I would probably waste it on. But the SCAR is known as a battle-proven rifle. So what are those battle distances that this gun goes out to? Who knows? Obviously, it's chambered in 308, and I'm not sure if you can get it in anything else right now. The good news is that they removed kind of that ugly boot stock.
Oh, the stock that looked just like an UGG boot?
Yeah, they removed that and actually put a nice stock on the thing. So there you go. It still looks like a SCAR otherwise. But Jen, what are your thoughts on this FN battle rifle or precision rifle, like they say?
I don't know. I'd have to get it and play with it and see.
Yeah.
See what kind of accuracy it can have,
Yeah, I mean, I don't, we've seen these guns play a little bit in the 3-gun world. I mean, early on, they weren't very popular in that game neither. The ARs kind of dominated in the 3-gun.
They never stuck.
Yeah, they never did. I mean, obviously, Team FN were the guys who were running them. So, but I mean, for obvious reasons. But so those were the guys who you seen it with, and that was earlier because Team FN is no longer, from my knowledge. So that's when you seen them, and then they never really picked up in popularity. It could be due to that price point and maybe the weight of that gun in a 3-gun game where you need kind of a fast rifle.
Now, the other thing, so the AR-15 is to 3-gun or action sports what the Remington 700 is to the bolt gun world. The aftermarket support, the interchangeability, the customizability of an AR-15, I think it's hard for anybody, SCAR or anybody else for that matter, to come in with a separate platform where your options are limited. Jennifer, you know this when you're building the gun that's behind you there. there's so many personal, subjective, this is what I like, this is what feels good. There's so many choices there to make that I think it's hard to look away from something like the AR, where for every option there are a million choices.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I don't know. I was excited to see it. I don't know if I'd ever get a chance to play with one, and I haven't done so with the SCAR platform overall, other than maybe like a quick show demo, and I picked it up and there's a SCAR, nice, and I gave it back. Other than that, I haven't got a chance to play with one. Looks cool. I think you guys, if you can afford it and you want one, go get one. It's an outstanding battle rifle, precision rifle. It depends what they're fitting that wordage into as far as that goes. Any live stuff here? They have. Oh, lastly, they have a limited edition. All right, package with this gun, or I think it's over $5,000. You can get like a Pelican style case and a couple extras, and it's limited edition. So if you're one of those people who want to have the limited edition stuff, you better jump on it. All right. For the rifle itself, $4,500 MSRP. Bring the wallets out. Yeah, wow. 760 by 51, but maybe that's no idea. Yes, it's 308. Yes. Okay. So just some comments here that I'm cleaning up here in the live chat. Yeah, 760 by 51 would be 308. If you didn't know that. Anything else? Jens, your match. We want to kind of talk about that more. You shot for the first time over on the West Coast. Your thoughts and how did you perform?
Yeah, it was a great match. It was a lot of fun. This is Regina and Matt Levine's match, and Regina Milkovich that they put on, and it was a lot of fun. It was a little different than the ones here. There were some fun things like Instructor Earl. If you've watched the Black Rifle Coffee Company, we had Instructor Earl telling us about sharks in Arizona. It was very funny. You had to be there, but it was pretty funny. So they had it was just fun. The whole match was just fun. They had fun stages. They had one where you had to pull balls out of a bag and put them in the order that you pulled them, and that's what order you had to shoot your targets. You had to memorize it, and then all on the clock, and then shoot your targets that were bowling pins and color-coded. So they had some fun stuff. It was a lot of fun. A little bit different. Of course, I didn't know a lot of people because it was mostly West Coast people. But had a great squad. I just posted tonight about my squad. Great squad. That first stage, I walked up and they were like, anything that's ours, any equipment you see, you're welcome to use. It's yours. Just hop up and use whatever you want. So just great guys out there that, we all worked together, and it was just a smoothly run match. Great food. We got done by like noon the second day. So we had 20 stages done. Yeah. So it was just a great match. It was a lot of fun. It was beautiful out there too.
Yeah. And did you notice anything from, obviously totally different terrain on the West Coast? Was the wind calls and all that stuff, was it totally different that you noticed, or what?
The wind was actually pretty tame. I was a little worried about the wind, but they said it was like not windy at all there. So the wind was about like our wind is here usually, which is like no wind for them. So that was kind of good, I guess. It wasn't like 30-mile-an-hour winds. But it was good. It was a lot of fun. I learned that I shoot with my mouth open, because first shot with my muzzle brake into the Arizona moon dust, and I ate part of Arizona. It was great. I came off the stage like this, literally. I was like, I have dirt in my teeth. It was funny, but it was fun. I shot well. It was my best finish yet. I shot 70% of the winner, so I was excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was with a borrowed gun. So I borrowed a gun from Tim Milkovich.
Yeah, borrowed gun and borrowed ammo, or you were able to squeeze over some prime over there?
I shipped my prime out there, so I shot my ammo, but it was a borrowed gun and a different scope that I'm not used to. So, yeah, it was fun though.
Yeah, I chalk that up as a win, man, on a borrowed gun, borrowed glass. That's impressive. Nicely done.
I was quite excited.
Yeah. Anything else you got, or you want to add in, or you can just actually let's get into discount corner here. Midway point of the show. I like to try to save you some money for some great companies who support the Shooter's Mindset show. Jen, usually start us off. What do you have?
Yep, you can get 10% off at carbonarms.us. with the code TSM10 on shotgun shell caddies, all that kind of stuff for 3 guns. So check them out. And you can get 10% off of Under Industries. My jersey is still not unpacked. Sorry, it's usually back there. But check them out for great jerseys, jackets, sweatshirts. They have all kinds of stuff, arm sleeves. So check them out. And if you mention Shooter's Mindset, you can get 10% off. And you can get 10% off at the Shooter's Mindset store with the best code ever, which is Gen TSM10. So check out the store and pick you something out up there and use my discount code.
Boom, there we go. A couple on my end here. The folks over at Tactical Shit, shop.tacticalshit.com, TSM10, saves you 10% off their entire online web store. Or if you're in the St. Peters, Missouri area, stop by their retail location and yell TSM10 at the cashier for 10% off on the spot. TaranTacticalInnovations.com, TSM10 for 10% off all their base pads, all their accessories. I was told it doesn't work on the gunsmithing stuff, but if you want, find me on social media. We'll get you 10% off somehow on a Benelli or a Glock, something like that. umtactical.com, TSM10 for 10% off their entire web store at umtactical.com. And that's all I have. Craig, anything on your end on the fly here? Discounts? From your sponsors, anybody?
Well, so we do at 419, we do 10% off, or not 10% off. You've been saying that a lot. We do free shipping on orders over $100 with code SENDIT, SENDIT. Be on the lookout. We got some stuff in the works for Black Friday, Cyber Monday as we get into the holiday season and the Christmas season. So be on the lookout. We roll out new stuff and we try to get it into the guys' hands. So the only thing we have going on right now is the free shipping on orders over 100 with code SENDIT, SENDIT.
Boom. Man, that's actually, if you just order one of their Hellfire brakes, you're getting free shipping with that code, so that's a much help.
And we pride ourselves on shipping really quickly. So if you order something right now, it's going to go out tomorrow. If you order something tomorrow at 9 a.m., it's going to go out the same day. We don't have time to not ship things, and from the gunsmithing side, we don't have time to not get work done. So go get it. You can have it quick.
There we go. Jen, what do you have?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a little bit more about the Arca Rail. So whenever we were at the Precision Rifle Expo, you had some different attachments on there. So what all attachments are available? I know I liked the barricade stop. I like how it kind of chewed into the wood and really sat there solid.
So the rail I've got here is our 12-inch universal rail, and we've started making more of our rails that are flat like this. Our 14-inch, which is our most common one that you see the most, it has a little barricade wedge built into it. It's integral to it. We sell to go with these. If you want one, a slide on and then screw down kind of semi-permanent wedge in the back that can act as that kind of rear barricade stop. We then, we sell this barricade clamp, which is very popular. It works with those rear barricade stops to give you kind of a wedge. These are nice because if you run an Atlas bipod, one that has the arms mount, so if it's one of the QD ones, you pull that off, or you can buy the no clamp, or we sell Atlas with the Arca clamp on it now. Bolt right to the bottom of this so that you can have your Atlas ready to go. We also have a Harris adapter for this clamp. You can't use the barricade stop with the Harris adapter right now, but you can Arca mount your Harris. That's what I shoot. I prefer a Harris in matches right now just because it feels better to me, and I've been having good luck with it as late. We've got coming soon, I actually think they'll probably be available in the next few weeks, an arm that allows you to mount a pint-sized game changer to the bottom of your Arca rail. So, for a long time, it was very in vogue to have the game changer with straps that went around the top of your rifle. That fell apart. People started not liking it. It was kind of clunky. And they're like, hey, we'll figure it out so we can put. And the way it works is there's a pocket sewn in at the top of the game changer. We also have some pockets on the side, so if people like to run it on their side, they can. And it attaches the bag up flush against this rail. So as you're moving around, let's say you're in a shoot house, you're going from window to window. A lot of people have had it happen. I'll admit it happened to me. There was one time that I'm getting in there, I take my game changer, I throw it on the window, I grab my rifle to throw it down, and the game changer at one of the shoot houses in K&M is going out the front of the window, and I just see it going thunk, thunk, thunk down the little hill on the back of the shoot house. it's not going to happen to me anymore because I'm going to be able to attach something to the right. Yeah, you're laughing, but you know you've seen it.
No, because I've almost done it like 100 times, and I'm like, oh.
Oh, and you grab your bag. It's terrifying. Nobody wants that. So we've got a system to keep that bag mounted, but you can also remove the little arm that will attach to the clamp and be able to use your game changer without any kind of mounts built into it, which is important to us. There are some other people that have the Arca mounted bags with something that's built into the bag. We didn't like that. We think you lose a lot of versatility with the bag product. So we did some videos on that at the expo, and you'll be seeing more about that as we get it close to ready for consumers. I think they'll probably ship this month. They might probably somewhere right around the end of the month.
Sweet.
Yeah. We do have a video on the Shooters Mindset YouTube channel from Jen at the Area 419 booth. So if you haven't checked that out, we'll put a link in the description of this video, and you guys can go take a peek at that. And she's pretty much throwing on the brake and shooting all in one spot. Like, you know what I mean? It's a pretty cool video. So check that out. The difference between the felt recoil of the, what is it? The 4-port versus the 3-port. What can we expect?
So, you know, what a lot of people, they'll ask that question and they'll say, well, one of them's 52%, one of them's 54%. That's all based on which sled or contraption or sling or whatever you use. What I tell people is if you're shooting anything from about a 6.5 down, and in like the standard 6.5 Creedmoor 260, even 308 down, the Hellfire is a great brake for you. It does a good job. It was designed for that kind of round. As you move into bigger rounds where you've got more powder, which means more gas, which means more pressure, the 4th port and the larger outside diameter brake become kind of important. They have the opportunity to contain more of that gas, more of that pressure, and turn it into recoil reduction. So I tell people that's a little bit of your dividing line. Jennifer, the one you shot was a Sidewinder on a 308. The bigger brake is always going to do a little bit better job, but the margin by which that 4-port brake can do a better job gets significantly larger as you move into the bigger caliber. So it's a pretty personal choice for people. Like a lot of these things, if you're running a standard caliber and a standard barrel at the Hellfire, the 3-port, I mean, this is our best-selling brake by quite a bit for a reason, and it's because it does a great job and a great package, a great price point. But the Sidewinder is also becoming popular because it's a little bit bigger, can reduce a little bit more recoil, and it makes a lot of sense for guys, especially if you're shooting a 300 Win Mag, or you want to shoot your 338 Lapua through it, or you're an early buyer on one of the 300 PRCs. It might make a lot of sense for you. So, at the end of the day, they all work well. We don't think we have anything on the market that doesn't work exceptionally well. It all comes down to what are you shooting and what are you looking for exactly out of that brake.
And coatings available. Are you stainless and DLC or?
So it's actually a black nitride coating that you're seeing here. It's very hard and it's very durable. All of our adapters, 100% of them come in black nitride. The reason for that is that never puts in like metals on one another because barrels are typically they're stainless. We have a black nitride adapter, and then we can put nitride on nitride and never have a metal on metal issue like galling. We also have the brakes available in stainless. So if you have a stainless barrel, that stainless collar will cover basically all of that adapter. You know, if you kind of looked at it from behind, you might be able to see a little bit of a black ring in there, but you can get a nice stainless front to back look, or you can run the black.
There we go. Lastly here, any upcoming events, matches, or you talked a lot about products upcoming, but anything?
Yeah, we roll stuff all the time. We've got some stuff in the works. Our auto trickler line of accessories is really popular. The base for the auto trickler unit, powder cup, the housing, and the additional hopper for the thrower. Those are all out there, and those are good sellers, and a lot of people are real happy with them. There are some other products in that line that are coming soon. So we're going to make some adjustments to the lid, the way that the powder dispenses down, the way that the cup's held in the scale. Be looking for those products along with the rail-mounted bags they're all on a timeline. We're looking at, let's say, the end of the month, beginning of December. We want people to have a lot of options for what they're going to put under the Christmas tree.
There you go. So PRS season's kind of wrapping up here shortly. Thoughts for the off-season, Jen? What do you got to get done on off-season talk?
Well, I might. Oh, I got to get a new barrel for sure. Well, I have it. I just need to get it chambered and all that because, I shot mine out at the gap grind. So I got to get that, and I might be looking at like getting a custom action. So might be some new things coming.
What are you looking for? What are you looking at?
Curtis, maybe.
We got a handful of Axioms in the shop. They're good product. Chase does a good job with his actions.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So probably going to get a little something because mine's just a Remington 700. And,
well, yeah. If you need somebody to tell you something.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Craig, anything else with you coming up, or you're doing the finale though, right?
Yeah, I'm in the finale, and that's 3-something weeks from now. I've got a brand new barrel that we're probably going to spin on my action tomorrow, and I'll start getting that broken in. I hope to take it to Texas with 300-400 rounds on it, so it's kind of right where I want it to be. I've had a lot of luck with the 6XC. We're close with the guys at Alpha. They make a terrific product in the brass, and I've been shooting that for most of the year. I started the season shooting my 260 from last year and shot a lot of early season stuff with a 223. And then toward the middle of the year, I moved into shooting my 6XC, knowing that that's what I wanted for the late summer and the fall, and hopefully into the winter and getting into the finale. And it's just been a dependable round. I'm shooting 110 Sierra Match Kings at about 3,000 feet per second, and they're consistent and they're flat and they buck the wind. And the big thing that I've learned in the last 4, 5, 6 months is to stop telling stop trying to force the rifle to do things that it doesn't want to do. I spent a lot of time last year, early this year, the year before that, trying to muscle the rifle and get it to do things. And at the end of the day, the weakest part of the shooting system is the trigger nut. I'm much more likely to be loose than the rifle itself. So if I can put it in a position that it needs to be in to get the job done, it's going to do it. I'm going to screw up way more often than that rifle is. So I'm getting more comfortable behind the gun, getting more in tune with my rifle, getting myself out of the picture as much as I can. So I'm excited for the finale coming up. Hope to shoot well, and then obviously 2019 season is going to be here super quick.
Yeah, well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Are y'all going to SHOT Show?
Oh yeah, we'll be there. We have our flights booked and all that kind of stuff. We won't have a booth. We'll just be walking around. We haven't committed to SHOT, but we have, NRA is going to be in May, and I think we may try to exhibit there. And then a pile of other shows that kind of start to pop up during the spring. I know that there's another Precision Rifle Expo that they're looking at maybe for the spring. So they're, I'm sure about the time all the country starts to thaw out after SHOT Show, we'll be pretty busy and on the road.
There we go. Yeah, SHOT Show talks. I know Jen's going. I'm on the fence about it. I don't know if you got anything special going on for SHOT. It's kind of early. Well, it's not. It's not early, but technically everybody's already got all their stuff booked. And if you haven't really started your SHOT Show plan, you're behind the curve already.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got our confirmations for our badges and our hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff. But as far as product releases, we haven't adhered to the release something at SHOT and then maybe at NRA and then at Gauss and we haven't done all that. When we have a product that's ready to go, we're ready to go, and we take it straight to consumers. And we've got a great customer base, and we communicate with them regularly through Facebook, and that's our Area 419 Facebook page. With the shooting team, with Team Area 419, I'm getting messages from some of the guys. Jeremy does a good job. He leads our team. We've got that Facebook page where we talk product, we talk testing, we talk shooting, reloading, all those processes. And then obviously area419.com. We've got our, if you go and it's your first time there, a little screen will pop up, sign up for that email list. That's where we release products. Tomorrow morning, that entire email list is going to get something about the cleaning rod rack, the storage solution. And as things roll out through this month, as sales roll out, any kind of promotions, they're the first ones to know about it. So make sure you like us on Facebook. Go to area419.com, and with that little pop-up that comes up, sign up for our email list. I'll post a link to our email list. If you can't find it on the website, I'll post that to our Facebook, our Instagram, Area 419 official. Justin, one of the guys that Justin runs a lot of the production on the floor in the shop. He's out. He just bagged a nice, I think he picked up a good 4x4 elk in Colorado, and now he's spending a couple of days fly fishing. You can keep up on a little bit of what we got going on in life, as well as some of the things that happen on the production floor. So yeah, check us out. We'd love to hear from you. If anybody out there has a question for me, if they're looking for a rifle, they're looking for advice on a break, on an arc rail, whatever it is, my email is Craig at CRAIG at area419.com. Happy to answer any questions you have. I just love meeting people doing this. The community that we have in the precision rifle world is unbelievable. The thing that I like the most about the spring is, A, you get to go shoot a whole new set of matches, but B, you see the sport grow every year. And those people that are right now looking around and seeing TPRC and seeing the great match that Regina put on that Jennifer shot in, say, that's really cool. I'm going to do that next year. And they start planning. And about March or April, you see new people at the range that, they've never hit any target past 300-400 yards, and they're going to bring out some version of some guy show up with a 243 with a bottom metal, and they're hand feeding and they're loving it. You see other people that go out and spend and go full custom, and they go all in for the first time. Seeing new shooters on the range shooting their first matches is probably my favorite time of the year, and you get a lot of that in the spring.
Boom, there we go. Awesome stuff. So there we go. Reach out to Craig if you have any more questions regarding the product or regarding the game. All right. We're going to set this one up down to shout outs, unless we have any live that on Jen's end. Anything that popped in here?
I don't think so. Chad Glasscock said that Ashton picked up the Sidewinder this weekend off the prize table at TPRC, and that she is currently shooting the Hellfire. So,
well, then she'll get to do some side-by-side with it. And we support a lot of matches. We get a lot of product on prize table because at the end of the day, if shooters didn't support us, then we wouldn't be here. So we're always happy to get stuff back onto those match tables. It's the end of the year. We're sending a lot of stuff to obviously PRS matches, but club finales, and we appreciate what shooters do for us.
Lastly, here I got one here from Tony. Says his uncle bought a 6.5 Creedmoor rifle. That is a new round for long distance. Never heard of it before a few years ago. So, yeah, it seems to be. I wouldn't say new, but it's definitely the more popular of them.
Yeah, I think the 6.5 Creedmoor is, without really a close second, the most popular round that you're going to find in any PRS match. And people like to talk about a Dasher or a 6 Creedmoor or an XC or a BR or BRA. But we've done a fair amount of survey analysis with shooters. And at the end of the day, the 6.5 Creedmoor is probably the most important round for the advancement of long-range shooting, at least in my lifetime. I mean, the Hot 6 was a big deal. 308 was a big deal. But if you look at the last 20 years and what has happened that has allowed more people to shoot and have more fun and it be more accessible to them, the 6.5 Creedmoor and the Ruger Precision Rifle. And I'm going to put on my fire retardant suit because I'm sure I'll get flamed for saying the RPR was a big deal for the long-range community. But it absolutely was. People could go to Academy and they could buy $25 a box ammo, and they could buy a $1,200 RPR, but some sort of serviceable. Everybody had the PST, the Vortex PST they'd put on top of it, and for $2,000 top to bottom, optic and rifle, and $20 a box, $25 a box ammo, you could go shoot at 1,000 yards and you could get impacts. And that handful of things, the 6.5 Creedmoor has been happening for a decade now. It's just really exploded, I would say, in the last 4 years as the sport exploded. Those couple things have done more for the sport than a lot of people want to admit. It's easy to give a new shooter flack for showing up to the range with an inexpensive rifle and an inexpensive optic and factory ammo, but man, the sport is more accessible than it's ever been, and I largely consider that due to the popularity and the growth of the 6.5 Creedmoor round. And rifles like the RPR, obviously the Vergara line of rifles is exciting right now. It's another nice, $1,000, $1,500 price point rifle that does a heck of a good job. Tika's got stuff out there that does really well. It's an exciting time to shoot long range.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that RPR talk, man. Because when I first heard of it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get me one of those because the price point was just there, and it's a good gateway gun. You know what I mean? You run that until you feel like you outran that gun, and if you have the wallet, you upgrade. You know what I mean? But to get just people to get in that way.
Yeah, it came out. I'm good friends with Dustin Coleman at Coltac, and he was one of the engineers on the product, and I talk with him all the time. You could go buy at a local gun shop for very little money. Yeah, Coltac right there. Jennifer's got one of his suppressor covers. They're terrific. you could go buy something that would take a detachable magazine. You could adjust the length of pull. You could adjust the cheek. The triggers on them were very useful. They were, I mean, you can make your knocks about the trigger wasn't perfect or the bolt might have sounded a little funky, but man, they checked all the major boxes for you to be able to pick up this rifle and go shoot a match.
Now the played around with the first gen a decent amount. The action was a little bit funky on that thing. I know they've released a second gen or maybe even a third gen since then, and they really cleaned that up, and a lot of the gripes on the first gen really were fixed. So it's still out there. You guys can get that gun and jump into the game, or get an FN SCAR. No, I'm kidding. Or just go hit up the folks over at Area 419 for a custom build or something. If the wallet allows you and you want to jump into it like that, makes sense. Or you can. Yeah, or just the good old Remington 700, right? Get involved in the gameplay. I'm sure there's a lot of fun to be had.
You better start getting something if you're gonna be my amateur next year at the Gap Grind.
Can I be?
Gonna do the gas gun, man. Just gonna go out there.
You just do gas gun. I told him he needs to come do this, and so he's got to shoot the Gap Grind with me next year.
I have it already set up.
No, just call me. I'll loan you a rifle. Don't shoot again. No, don't do it.
And it's in 308 too, so we're going to be called the heavy hitters. Watch that.
The hitting is the problem you may have.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, but I do hope to get this thing out there and play in the Gap Grind. That'll be nice. Down to shout outs. Jen, what do you got?
Prime Ammunition, they were big sponsors they were the main sponsors of TPRC, so thank you for sponsoring that match and for having great ammo. Night Force Optics, GSL Suppressors, yes, this is the little coat for mine if it ever gets out of jail. And they also sponsored TPRC and put a couple of cans on the table, so thanks for that. Lansing Tactical, if you do want a gas gun. Under Industries for jerseys, Shooters of Augusta and Sharpshooters of Augusta, Carbide Arms, and Patriot Cases.
You know, I'm really excited for going back to Prime. Their 6.5 SAUM ammo that's purportedly coming out.
Yep.
I'm going to put together a SAUM, and I mean, I love reloading, but having factory options is cool. And I'm not going to lie, as soon as they drop it, I'm going to have a case on the way to me.
Yeah, I mean everybody's like, you should reload. You should reload. If I reload, I won't have time to shoot. Like, I am that busy with work and kids, and I'm in school myself. There's no way I could do all of that and reload. So I love that I can buy, just go to Prime and there is ammo there.
She's sponsored by Prime. All right, there you go.
But it's just awesome to have good ammo that you can just get and not have to, everybody's posting their reloading the night before, and I'm like, oh, well, my ammo's ready.
It's another cool thing, whether you're talking about Prime or, I've shot a lot of Federal ammo over time, or the Hornady ammo. Factory ammo today is better than it's ever been. I mean, there are a lot of brands out there putting out really affordable ammo that shoots really well.
Yeah, there it is.
That's good.
Agreed. Shout outs on your end. Craig, what do you got, man? Any shout outs?
Shout out to you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I look forward to coming back at some point. We got a lot of people from a team standpoint that we work with. I'm excited about. Defiance makes it terrific action. Bartlett barrels, we stock and sell and shoot a whole lot of them, and they're great. Manners composite stocks. I was putting together. I'm just putting on a new stock to my rifle, and I went with the T2A Gap, and it's a terrific design, and it's got about an extra 4 pounds of lead in it. So my rifle's kind of a hog right now, but they put out a great product, and their team with Drew and Robert and obviously Tom, they do a heck of a job, and I've got a truckload of them on the way to the shop right now, because when customers ask me, they say, well, what's the best stock on the market, and what do you shoot? I talk about Manners first, because we appreciate what that team's done. And Regina and McMillan, by the same token, having just done, she's with them and with DPRC. Anytime somebody undertakes a match and lays into it, that's a big deal. So as a match director, you got to shout out to Regina for putting it all together.
Oh, there we go. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show and spending almost 2 hours of your time here with us tonight. So we appreciate that. If if you guys are watching on the YouTube side of thing, right below the video, you see the yellow subscribe button. Click that. Every Tuesday at 9 Eastern, we're doing a new episode of The Shooter's Mindset featuring another great guest. Folks over at Tactical Shit, for all your tactical shit needs, AR-15 parts, clothing, tactical gear, all that stuff there. It's all there at Tactical Shit, okay? For all your rimfire needs, the folks over at Tandem Cross, they got a lot of pistol, Ruger 1022, get your, if you're into steel challenge, get those things race ready over at Tandem Cross. If you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com is a good way to get a hold of me. And lastly, the folks over at Taran Tactical Innovations, man, always appreciate their support and great gear for pistol games and 3-gun over there. I think we can kind of wrap this one up. We're all good as far as any live, and we don't want to sneak anything in here last minute.
I'm good on my end.
Good.
Great episode, great show, great guest. Get Craig on again from Tony. That'll do it for episode 241 of The Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We're out of here.